Plotinus Third Ennead, Third Tractate, on Providence 2. Introduction, Injustice and the Human Soul. Plotinus returns to the emotional root of the problem of providence. Why do virtuous people suffer misfortune? Why are the wise and the innocent afflicted, while the wicked often prosper? These questions are not abstract, they cut to the heart of human anguish and moral doubt. Rather than offer pious reassurance or divine mystery, Plotinus offers a metaphysical anthropology. He explains the soul's condition by examining its nature, origin, and journey. His answer is radical: every soul, prior to birth, chooses or merits its condition. There is no arbitrary fate, only ontological justice enacted across time and space. The soul's descent and responsibility. Plotinus begins by reaffirming the pre-existence of the soul. Before entering the body, the soul dwells in the intelligible realm, contemplating eternal forms. But some souls turn downward, becoming fascinated by the images of things, and thus descend into the realm of nature and generation. This descent is voluntary, though often unconscious. The soul is not cast into the body by an evil power, it is drawn downward by its own tendencies, affections, and desires. It chooses embodiment and chooses its place within the hierarchy of the cosmos. Thus, if a soul finds itself in a difficult or painful life, this is not the result of divine neglect or cruelty. It is the outworking of its own prior choices and nature. 2. Destiny as the mirror of the soul's character. Plotinus explains that the world is finely ordered and each soul is placed where it fits. The soul's character, its habits, desires, and level of development determines its circumstances. A soul that is bold and aggressive may be born into warlike circumstances. A contemplative soul may find itself in a quiet life. A disordered or negligent soul may enter into painful or chaotic situations not as punishment but as a correspondence to its inner state. This doctrine is similar to what later Neoplatonists and even Indian philosophy would call karmic justice. But for Plotinus, it is not about reward and punishment, it is about ontological fitness. What a soul is, that is what it lives. 3. The purpose of suffering, ascent through experience. But Plotinus is not fatalistic. The soul is not locked into its condition. He insists that suffering can awaken the soul, reminding it of its origin and prompting it to turn inward. Misfortune may be the soul's education, not its condemnation. In this sense, the soul's embodied life, even in difficult conditions, can be a school for ascent. The soul is not meant to remain below, but to learn from its experiences and to rise again toward Nous. This gives Plotinus' doctrine a profound moral message. We are responsible for our condition, but we are also capable of change. The true question is not, why did this happen to me, but how can I use this to return to myself? 4. What about children and the seemingly innocent? Plotinus acknowledges a common objection: what about those who suffer without apparent cause, especially children? Here he is both bold and uncompromising. Such souls, too, are placed according to prior tendencies. Even children, he suggests, are not blank slates. Their souls carry the marks of their pre-bodily life, and their condition reflects who they are. This may strike modern readers as harsh, but for Plotinus it is an affirmation of justice. Nothing is random, nothing is unjust. Every soul lives in the world it has in some way chosen or prepared for itself. However, he balances this with compassion. Our task is not to blame others for their condition, but to aid the soul's ascent in ourselves and in others. Providence and the harmony of the whole. Plotinus now ties the individual soul's condition back to the universal providence he described in the previous tractate. Each soul's placement is part of a greater harmony, a cosmic order in which all beings, high and low, contribute to the whole. Just as in music, dissonance and tension are sometimes necessary to complete the beauty of a symphony, so too are difficult lives and lower beings necessary for the full expression of the cosmos. The divine intellect does not see individuals in isolation, but as parts of an eternal pattern. What appears tragic in time may, in the eternal view, be perfectly fitting. The soul, when purified, can come to see this and to accept its role with joy. 6. The soul's power of return. Plotinus closes with hope. The soul is never condemned. Its current condition, however painful or degraded, is not its true nature, but a reflection of its current orientation. The soul can always turn inward, remember its source, and ascend again. Providence is not only a cosmic order, it is also a call to return. The soul's journey is not about reward or punishment, but about recognition and awakening. And once the soul remembers the divine, it is already on the path of return. Thus, even fate and misfortune serve the good, they lead the soul back to itself and ultimately to the good beyond all being. Conclusion: justice, freedom, and the soul's journey. On Providence 2, Plotinus weaves together a vision of divine justice, freedom, and hope. Every soul is placed where it belongs, not by accident but by ontological necessity. Suffering is not meaningless, it reflects the soul's condition and can serve as its awakening. The cosmos is ordered, not chaotic, even what seems unjust is part of a greater harmony. The soul is free to rise, and Providence always supports its ascent, never obstructs it. This is a metaphysics of moral responsibility but also of grace. The soul is never abandoned, never fated beyond recovery. The divine presence is always near, as Nous above and as the light within the soul.